Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be checking out the newest episode of X-Men 97, episode 8 of season 2, the penultimate episode. Going into this one, I am both very excited and nervous because based off the title, I think there's a good chance we're dealing heavily with Gambit this week, which is exciting because I think this is how he's going to come back to life in this continuity, but at the same time, seeing him as Death and having to be a foe of the X-Men isn't gonna be is gonna be emotional to say the least. But other than that, I don't wanna waste too much more time and hop right into this week's episode. If you are new to my channel, this is more of a watch along than a straight up reaction. So if you'd like the audio and or full video, you can sync up with your own copy of the episode. If not, you can see it blurred behind me and read the subtitles below me to follow along. I'll just give us a countdown. We can get right into this episode. Three, two, one, start. Alright, good to go. Oh, yeah, definitely focusing on this. This conversation in general is very interesting to me, having Rogue being the one to have a one-on-one with Apocalypse like that. Oh yeah, even focusing on that part of the conversation. I'm assuming because they teased it, um, how Rogue was the one that. Oh, interesting from that point of view. But Rogue was the one who essentially uh yeah, I didn't figure out what's going on here. Um I forget what I was saying about Rogue. Completely blanked on that. Oh, Rogue was the one who cured Archangel of being under Apocalypse control. So I'm wondering, since they didn't actually show that in this episode's like highlights, which I was expecting. Um so maybe that won't come up, but it's kind of what I was expecting. Be one of the highlights in the intro, because they brought it up in this episode, and like I think even like the voice actress like posted on Twitter like that clip of it in the '90s series, which is actually funny because that's the same moment where that like iconic Rogue like shot of her laying down comes from. Um, X Force stuff and then some Apocalypse stuff there. I think that stuff with Apocalypse in the intro, newly animated, but I think it's from that same section in the night. Oh, are we back in time again with Osha? Dancing by yourself. Is this in him for her? Maybe for Gambit? Yeah, I wonder whose point of view. Very cute though. Ooh, that was kind of ominous. Oh, yeah. Oh, did he definitely a dream sequence, but she's getting like she's feeling that version of a Gambit, which is a thing. Like the sad nature of that opening. This is a really cute, them playing cards around the table. I love getting to see the X-Men. Like this and like they show the basketball. Uh, oh, I'm sure it's also kind of painful to be around friends as well when you're wishing someone else was here. Island Defense. For a second, I thought it was going to be X Force pulling up because that's yeah, it is. I figured last we checked that they were in um Athens, but they were on the airplane. Oh, I think we saw that in the Jubilee Rescue episode. I forgot that's the type of fucking plane that was. I was just thinking of it as like a normal cargo plane. Oh, did they bring a pocket? Fascinating. Son. Oh, is this a ploy to get Gambit inside or something, maybe? Because I'm interested to know if they showed his cards turning into the tarot deck, which is something he used in the Krakoa age, is like a magical deck of cards. That is true. They are bringing it up now. I mean, it worked once. You just have to pray it works again. I'm very worried that Apocalypse isn't actually dead. Um, and worst case, he took over Gambit's body, which would be a really bad timeline. Honestly, I think I'm more on Rogue's side with it. Being a little bit worried, I think, is good in this situation. Oh, fun. We're finally. Because the original show had the more classic Cerebro. This is like much more in line with like the movie Cerebro with like the big room, everything. Oh, Flash of Apocalypse there too. Oh, is he, and, that actually makes sense, with that location he's on at, field area-ish. And that is the chick from oh, I'm so glad I remembered that in the flashback with Apocalypse. Oh god. Oh, fucking how is it? What a dramatic entrance. They also did see him, at the funeral as well. Hmm. Very interested to know if the cards actually have different effects or anything. God. Oh, it's got, like, fucking zombies, essentially. But, like, yeah, that was teased in the Rise of Apocalypse episodes, and, um, Kang mentioned a thing about being external, and she's a part of the externals, which are, like, an immortal race of, um, mutants. And Jubilee has been making slow progress with, Cable, I think. Kind of soft spot for his, This is also the first conversation after everything that's happened with, oh, that is actually time ripping away is exactly what happened on fucking Genosha. Like 200 times or something, he tried to save his mom. X-Sentinel. Black hole. Oh my god. He's just rolling with the whole Thieves Guild. We're not even in a Blackbird and it's still getting fucking taken out of the sky. X-Men can never be fucking flying a plane. Also, Gambit did call Belladonna his ex. That's his first wife, right? That's like his wife, if I remember right. Uh, Keen, are you gonna try and pick up the whole fucking plane? God, I'm so worried it's not gonna be as easy as it should be. I have a feeling it's not gonna be the happiest memories necessarily. Oh, does her power still not work because it's God? Oh, not good. Yeah, but I thought there was I think because he's still dead, I don't think Rogue can use her power on it. Similarly, like how when she was grabbing him at the end of Genosha, like the Massacre of Genosha, and she said, "I can't feel you." I think it might be because of that, or it's just he can negate it with his powers. Dos. He's also fucking riding around on that like fucking Lobo. Psylocke doing the shield on the front is so cool. Yeah, we do got two. Actually, I was gonna say three. Oh my god, I love that we actually get to see Cable use his powers. Generally, he's not mostly just using it to cancel the techno-organic virus. Which did he even get that back? Because he had it ripped out of him from Bastion. Bastion fused it, but I assume he still has it. Ooh, I love that Storm outfit. Yeah, not ominous at all. That's not ominous at all. And I actually am not sure if Rogue's powers without her powers working to cure him. I actually don't know how we fix Gambit. Good too, to be fair. I thought it was just gonna be harder than we thought to make it happen. But not how it fully be Gambit. I do know that I don't remember if that is a thing in the comics at all. I uh I do know in the comics does have a wife and kids in the comics at some point. Fascinating. I wonder if that amulet is going to be what revives Apocalypse or something, maybe. God. Distant. Ooh. Aw. God, you want to be so happy for him, but you just know it's not going to be. Oh, God. Having Belladonna do this is diabolical. I was wondering how they were going to tie back around her because they highlighted it very much of with Kang. Is he how easy is he going to be able to manage to do this? Oh, quite easy actually. He made a whole fucking energy sword though. Rolling up. Oh, that's a shot from the trailer, I think. That actually makes sense because this is right when like all the team groups up. I love how they've been showcasing Jean's power because I feel like it's very easy to make telekinesis a boring power, but they've been doing really good stuff. Oh, the red Bamf as well. I also have no clue who Morph just turned into. The POV of just throwing hands as the teleporting is sick as hell. That was an awesome Gambit sequence. Oh, I don't know if I want. Oh my god, turning the fucking staff into a scythe is crazy. Oh, he was able to knock him out. I didn't think Charles was gonna be able to. affect his mind? Oh, oh God, Gambit need. Oh my God, dude, they've been cooking with all of like the inner mind scenes. God, Gambit's kind of cooking right now, though. Oh, he nice, Charles. Last time he set up the cards in front of him and exploded them. Oh, is that a trap? Oh, hopefully not. Nice. Oh, and there's the apocalypse of it all. God. The way he's alive though, like almost in his mind, is similar to how I thought there would be a piece of Magneto living in Charles still. But at least now we know Gambit is in there that we can save him. Although that means we need to get a new body, I think, for we need to expel Apocalypse somehow. Oh God. That Charles pulling her into his mind as well. But where's Apocalypse now? There's no way he's gone. And the X-Men are back home. Still some time. I have most strange. How so? Oh, so it's more of a seal. Oh God. Well, mostly got him back. X Factor. Yep, of course it is. Now, are they here under orders from the government, or are they here? I think they might be splitting off as well. Oh, Val's here as well. Oh no, they're just working together to take out Gambit. Fuck. Oh god, that makes sense. We built up the teams. Actually, this recontextualized some of the previous episodes as well, and I feel like ties together them fairly well. There's still a couple that are more standalone episodes this season, but a lot of them kind of tie in. Oh my god, I still haven't fixed Disney apparently. From auto playing that constantly does it. So annoying. Actually, skip through this episode while we talk about it, and I want to make sure there's no end credit scene or anything. Not look like there is one. Really fun. I loved seeing like Gambit go back to the essentially like the bayou and seeing a lot of like the Thieves Guild, which we've seen a couple of them in during about is during the funeral in season 1. A couple of them showed up. Oh, wait. We took the body of Apocalypse is at the X Mansion. Or is this the corporation? This is not the mansion, this is X Corp. So that's where that is. So maybe we force Apocalypse back into his main body and maybe give it like a weakness or something before that happens so we can actually take him out for good. I'm really, really interested to know how the final episode ties this all together and wraps up and like what kind of cliffhanger we leave off on. Because season 1 left off on a massive cliffhanger, to be fair. All of the X-Men were trapped throughout time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we like um finish off like the apocalypse like 90% of the episode, and then we leave off with like a little bit extra. Um I also hope the final episode is also a little bit longer as well. Because I feel like it would be awesome if we got it, especially like a 40-minute episode. Largely, it's just about like the climax and everything. But it looks like we honestly might get a little bit of like X-Men versus X-Force and X Factor, but I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't last long and we end up teaming up against Apocalypse. But actually, not really exactly how I thought this was gonna go with Gambit's return. Very interesting. I love also just like the lore, um, and like building off of stuff like the established after her being an external, um, and then like her connection essentially with Apocalypse, and then also her connection with Gambit. It all tied together actually super well. It built off of pre-established lore from the original series, and the newer lore from this season, plus just comic books in general. So that was super well done. Honestly, these are characters I feel like that don't make it into as much content as often. Like I think they're only in 1 or 2 episodes of the original series, but quite cool seeing Belladonna and the rest of them. Um, because I think she plays a relatively decent part in quite a bit of storylines. Like I forget if she's the character about when Rogue like gets Miss Marvel's powers. I think she's like protecting her or something like that. I know there's a couple storylines with her and Rogue as well. That'd be interesting to know that. That also makes sense. Gambit stabbing through her, but so cool that he uses his like bow staff, and then instead of just fighting with a staff, turning it into like a death scythe is just so fun. Um, and a lot of creative shots with the powers this episode. This show's always so good with the X-Men using their powers. For the most part, it's so awesome. The visuals of the inner mind stuff was super well done. Kurt teleporting and like punching in the first person view was super super well done. And as I said, it's so impressive how well they can demonstrate telekinesis as a power set. Um, like Gina had a couple really good moments, and like if you go back to like the Polaris episode, for example, like Jean does even like a tornado attack, and he makes like the claws. Like she gets very does a lot of cool stuff with it that I really appreciate. Um, as someone who loves not only like the more emotional and story side of the X-Men. The X-Men are also just cool because their power sets are fun. Because I feel like they're usually nothing that. Sometimes X-Men powers are pretty fucking ridiculously crazy, but a lot of times it's like a really simple power taken to an extreme. Or I personally I loved how they showcased Jubilee in her episode this season, where not only was it showcased her power being a little bit cooler than it usually is, it was also fighting around its weaknesses, not just getting rid of them. Like I loved it during that fight sequence of her taking out all of the guards and everything. She struggled a little bit because when you show a character struggling and um being smart about how they're using their powers and adapting and stuff, I feel like it's such a more dynamic fight scene. So I always appreciate how the show has been showcasing that. And we got a couple pretty sick Gambit moments. I was actually expecting Gambit probably like more of like him showing up and like fighting all of the X-Men was a little bit less of that type of conflict. It was more about his and Rogue's connection. And I wonder when he's being controlled like this cuz it's a little bit different than just being turned into one of his horsemen because there's also like Apocalypse inside of him. I wonder how much of what he was talking about was actually him versus like his under control from Apocalypse. It seems like it must be like some way a manipulation of his will. Because like the fact that he was going to marry Rogue and get back that like power to make her immortal. But I also wonder if maybe that whole situation was something Apocalypse was planning and he needs his that bit of power back or something. To get him to absolute full strength or something like that. This will be an episode I'm excited to see people with even more comic book knowledge than me because I am not like a I love comic books. I know quite a bit of stuff, but I am not like your guy to like tell you like what issue stuff is from or like um every little bit of information. So I love that this show brings about like very like casual watchers and introduces them to a lot more crazy concepts, but also um it's like very much for like the hardcore fans as well, and they'll get stuff like that you might not expect. I actually don't think I called it out, but there was in the Danger episode, we saw like some of the X-Men there, and I don't remember if I mentioned it or not. I don't think I even recognized him immediately, but there was Dupe showed up, which is a crazy pull for a character to show in that lineup of students. Um, because if I remember right, his lore is like crazy. Like I think he lives like in between the pages of comic books and like just is speaking some nonsense, but is a really fun character. Um, so I love just this isn't just for casual fans or for super nerds. I feel like it's a really good mix. Um, and I know some people have complained about the pacing, but it's felt very similar to season one to me, and like the way some of these storylines have like connected back together or just like had a through line. Like even the Danger episode, and there was another moment with one of the villains or characters talking about it, but a lot of things have very much been in the vein of survival of the fittest. Even if we're not directly fighting apocalypse, that seems to still be like the overall theme in a lot of the episodes. Um I'm wondering for the final episode if we get like all four horsemen like show up and then we have them battling all of the X-Men, or if we end up more in like a X-Force and X-Factor versus X-Men, or just very intrigued to see how the rest of this season ends off because I've personally absolutely loved this one. Um, and it makes me so glad that Marvel knows that they have something awesome with this series, and the fact that season 3 is already in production, and I believe season 4 is about to go in production in not too long. Just wild stuff that they're actually letting this team cook so much, because I feel like a lot of the times Marvel will strike gold with something and then just not mine it. They'll just leave it for to go dry. Um, I love that we're actually going all in with X-Men 97. Like there was like I think it was 2 years or something in between the seasons, but I don't mind too much if this is what we're gonna get because it's honestly probably complicated and hard to plan out a season like this where it takes decades of comic book stories and animated series and movie lore and like all combines it into this new universe that feels so lived in. One of my favorite things honestly about this world, and that this episode exemplifies it, because even though like some of this was pre-established a little bit with her, I love that this world can just feel like the comic book world where we can like have like anything going on. Like even like occasionally we'll have like Avengers characters come in, we'll see like Spider-Man, and even if some of that stuff is just cameo, I love how big and open the world feels. Like it feels like any comic book story could happen. And like even Morph getting to transform into like the Fantastic Four and things like that. So many cool little things like that really add up to make it feel like a big, open, expansive world. Even though realistically, I guess we not counting the original series, we only have like we'll only have 19 episodes of a show, and it feels so much more lived in and big than like even the MCU, which has had so many movies and time to build out that world. I'm a big fan of how the world feels in this. And I love that we can not only do like I feel like we touch on like every element. We haven't super went hard into magic, just like a little bit, but they don't stray away from like the sci-fi, the magic, the more fantasy elements of it, or I really enjoy that this show captures all of it. But that'll be it for this episode. I do gotta head to bed here soon, and I have one more video to record. But I will catch you guys all later, and peace.